So I'm going to talk to you now a little bit about why we find that sleep is really important in persistent pain. So we know that having poor sleep winds up the pain system, winds up the pain sensitivity, and how we can look at ways of improving sleep. So you're probably most likely to have some sleep problems if you have persistent pain. So just thinking about how do you feel in the morning if you've had a bad night's sleep, or even during the night as well, how the pain affects the quality of your sleep. So it's a two-way process. So we're looking at, first of all, how much sleep do you need to have to feel rested and refreshed in the morning, looking at the quantity of sleep. So we know that the World Health Organization recommends for adults 7 to 8 hours sleep a night. So looking at maintaining what we call good sleep hygiene is really important in addressing persistent pain, and actually allowing enough time for sleep, which can often get overlooked. And you know, if you quite actually like the later hours when things have gone quiet, it's easy to stay up a bit too late and then eat into the time that you really need to be in bed asleep. And it's also been found that setting a particular routine of time when you go to sleep and time when you get up can be helpful. So just thinking about that, you know, looking at your own patterns of sleep and how much time do you allow for sleep. So also winding down before bed can help to have a better quality of sleep. So whether that's doing a little bit of some stretching, some gentle stretching, so maybe some yoga, or reading. And it's been found as well that with screens, that can actually, the light that we get from computer screens and phone screens and tablets and things, can actually stimulate the brain and keep you awake longer than is good for you. So thinking about leaving the screens to one side or in a different room when you go to bed can be helpful. Making sure the environment is conducive to a good night's sleep. So you've probably thought about a lot of these things yourselves already. But just going through, checking off, making sure that you are doing everything that you can to help your body get fully rested and restored. So having a dark room, so making sure, you know, especially in the summertime, having effective curtains. Having a quiet room, maybe if there's noises that you can't cut out, thinking about having some little earplugs, that kind of thing. And then looking at also lifestyle issues, so things that you do generally in your life can help your quality of sleep at night time, things that you do during the day. So it's found that exercise, regular exercise, walking, some kind of aerobic where you raise your heart rate, you raise your breathing rate every day is really helpful in letting the body then have a better night's sleep. And diet can be important as well, and thinking about having natural, healthy, whole foods, having enough vitamins, having enough fibre. Generally, you know, our bodies can cope with a little bit of the stuff that's more processed and the more kind of junk food, but looking at making sure we're eating generally healthily. And then also thinking about reducing or cutting down the stimulants that we might be having, whether that's caffeine, alcohol, nicotine. All these things affect the blood chemistry. And so it's worth just doing a little bit of a review of, you know, how well you're really looking after your own body, and the effect that might be having on sleep, and then the knock-on effect with that to your pain system. Another thing that can disrupt and disturb us with sleep is worrying about things, is stress, general life stress. And we live, you know, in a very stressful modern world. And so looking at a few ways of helping to address stress and worries can be really useful. So one of the ways we find is, some people find useful, is writing things down and differentiating between nighttime and daytime type of thoughts as well. So, You know, we can, if we've got something that's on our mind, we might be able to get to sleep all right, but then we find we wake up early and then it's going through our mind, and it actually feels a lot worse. Because the brain changes its state when you go into sleep. In general, the right hemisphere is more active, and this is the part that generates dreaming, but it understands the world in a more emotional way. So that's why when we're considering worries, problems that we've got to solve at night time, they can get bigger and bigger. So I found myself thinking to myself, if I'm doing that, just questioning, is this what I'm thinking about, is this a nighttime thought or is this a daytime thought? So nighttime thoughts would be dreams, stories, and a daytime thought is something that is better off to address in the daytime when your left hemisphere is active, and that's the intelligent, rational, problem-solving part of the brain. So writing things down, you know, having a piece of paper beside the bed and thinking, okay, I'm going to deal with that in the morning. And then we find also that listening to something soothing can help to get back to sleep or to get off to sleep. The human voice, we've evolved and we're programmed to feel safer when we can hear another person talking. So whether that's the World Service on the radio at night time, some people find helpful, or if you have a story that you can listen to on your phone. There are also apps, Headspace do sleep casts that you can listen to or get back to sleep with that can be really helpful, that just give your brain something to focus on, to follow without worrying, and then allow you to drift off. Another way of addressing waking up at night and not sleeping well is to plan beforehand to get up and do a boring task. If you find that you're regularly waking up at night, it's good to train your brain not to bother waking up. So if you pick a chore that you don't enjoy doing, whether it's cleaning windows or something, polishing the floor maybe, you could decide, okay, if I wake up tonight and I'm still awake after 20 minutes, I'm going to get up and do that chore that I don't like. And I've found, having explained this idea to people, that sometimes you don't even find that you find that you don't even wake up, that you the part of the brain that controls whether you're asleep or awake just decides, actually, maybe I'm better off just staying asleep. So that can be really useful. So, and another problem at night can be getting really frustrated with not being asleep, and really worrying about, the longer you're awake for, the more tired it's going to impact your day the following day. And actually what's happening when you're getting frustrated is you're winding up the nervous system. You're actually creating stressful hormones in the body that are then going to make the problem carry on. So just thinking about accepting the fact that you're not asleep can be helpful. Just thinking, okay, well, I'm not asleep, but I am in bed, my body's resting. I'll just maybe focus on my breathing, focus on feeling the breath in and out, and just accept that I'm not asleep at the moment, but it's one night, I'll be okay, it's not the end of the world. And then finally, just to bring back in this idea as well of using active relaxation. That can be really, really helpful at night time. So the 7-11 breathing, if you find that works for you, or doing a body scan or a tension and release of the muscles through the body. But the breathing and the counting is very commonly really useful.